Hello, my name is Johnny Perryman, and this is the Johnny Perryman Family Trust. Now, I notice a lot of people, when they do live videos, they'll sit there and say, well, let me wait till somebody else come in there. Hello, Sheila. Hello, Leroy. But I just want to start giving you the information right off the bat so you don't have to sit here and worry about me wasting your time. This is about health. And health, the way it's taken care of in this country, they've gotten way off a track. Now, you could have 100 patients with exact same negative symptoms, and the doctor can give all 100 of them a placebo. Now, placebo is a sugar pill that really don't do anything to your body. Now, if 100 of them receive a placebo, 30 of them will either lose their negative symptoms or get well from this placebo. Now, how is this possible? The only one that can heal you is you healing yourself. Now, like I said in another video, if you look at the Christian Bible, you look at the Hebrew Torah, you look at the Muslim Quran, you look at the Hindu teachings, the Buddhist teachings, the spirituality teachings, all of those, there's at least one thing they have in common, and that is they all say that there's God inside of you. Just like the Buddhists say, if you see Buddha on the road, kill him. Because Buddha ain't on the road, he's inside of you. And there's a lot of people that want to try to use their position in some form of religion to make you feel that you need to go through them to get to God when God is inside of you. Now, when a doctor gives 100 people a placebo, it is you're activating that God inside of you by having faith in that doctor or faith in the placebo. And it's your faith that actually heals you. And there was this one girl I knew that I went out with her for a while, and I came over one day, we were supposed to do something together, and she was all dressed in black, and she had on black lipstick. She had dark skin anyway, and she had a black veil that you can see through over her face. And she had this weird look on her face. And she said that I represent the God of light. And she represented the God of darkness. She represented darkness. And it was her duty to destroy me. And I noticed at that time that she had a gun in her hand, a .38 pistol, and she was holding it there in her lap. I said, well, I can see right now that this won't be the best time for us to discuss this or have a date. And so I'm leaving right now, and I'll see you later. And she didn't try to shoot me. I walked out the door, I got my car and drove away. I didn't go to see her again. I was through. Months later, I was in my office at the union, and the phone rang. And it was for me. And it was a preacher, a pastor. And he told me about the same woman was in the hospital. And she'd been in an accident, very serious accident, and she just called my name. She just kept calling my name. And so I went up to the hospital to see her, and her head had been split open. She had, her brain was swelling, and doctors didn't expect her to get through the night. And so I told her, I says, now, as she could talk, I says, I want you to talk to yourself tonight. I want you to talk to your subconscious mind and tell your subconscious mind that you want it to bring the swelling down to normal size and to work on you while you're sleeping. And she says, okay. And I left and I came back the next day. The doctors was talking about it was a miracle, the swelling's gone down, but she still had some infection behind her eyes and they were still expecting her to die. And I told her, when you sleep tonight, I want you to talk to yourself again. And I want you to tell your subconscious mind to resolve that issue with that you have going on behind your eyes. And so the infection that you have. And so she said, okay. And the next day the doctor was talking about miracle, that was fixed. And I went up there every day for 7 days. And each day I gave her something else to work on. And I told her to work with her subconscious mind. And so on the 8th day, they discharged her from the hospital. And they were telling her that eventually, because of the accident, that she's going to have problems with her brain and maybe some mental problems. And I told her, I said, look, if they're telling you how to get well, listen to them. But if they're pronouncing negative things to happen to you in your future, don't pay any attention to them at all. As a matter of fact, if they're not trying to heal you, don't go back to see them. And so now she calls me teacher. I haven't seen her in a few years, but when I was the last, few times I saw her, she was calling me teacher. And she said that there were some doctors that wanted to come from Harborview Medical Center to talk to me to find out what I did. And I didn't really want to meet with them, I did tell one doctor that when you were telling her the negative things that was going to happen to her, your words have power, and your words could have created that. When God said, let there be light, he created a whole universe. And he put God inside of each one of us. And so when we speak, we're speaking with the force of God. If we say, I don't have any money, or I'm broke, or life is hard, we're pronouncing that on ourselves. We're speaking with the force of God. And when you say things like, the swelling is going to go down in my brain, and it's going to, you're speaking with the force of God. Now, not only do you speak with the force of God, if you add faith to that, that makes it even more powerful. Now, she thought that I represent the God of light. And so when I told her what to do, she had total and complete faith in me, even though it was her faith that healed her. She healed herself. I didn't heal her. She healed herself. And we all have that power. Doctors cannot heal you. They don't even try. They want to give you medicine to take for the rest of your life. We've cut off our association with the spirit. And we need to get back to the spirit. If you want to get healed, go down to Peru and talk to a plant doctor. He'll heal all kinds of things like you wouldn't even believe. Dr. Sebi, he knew that getting rid of all the mucus in your body will heal just about everything. You can go get a plant from Jamaica called the duck flower, and you eat this duck flower, and you'll find yourself shitting and throwing up anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, but you're relieving getting all that mucus out of your body. And when you finish shitting and throwing up and stuff, 10 hours later, you can see better, you can heal better, you can taste things better, and it's fixed so many things in your body, and this is just going back to nature. Now, I had a 5-year-old grandson. He was actually my wife's grandson and my stepson's son. And he was 5 years old, called Devin. He spent the first part of his life living with me and my wife, and I loved that kid. He was staying with us at one time when he was 5 years old, and I taught him the symptom duplication process. The symptom duplication process for getting rid of pain anywhere in your body. Now, I'm going to explain how it's done to you. I want you to keep your eyes open and listen as I talk about it. And if you want to do it to yourself, you can play this video again and do it with your eyes closed and remove any pain that you have from your body. Now, the first thing that you have to do is imagine pulling that pain out of your body. And when I say imagine it, like wherever the pain is, let's say it's your shoulder, you take your hand, put it up on your shoulders, and imagine pulling something solid that is a pain out of your body and holding it in your hand. And when you hold it in your hand, have your hand open like this. Don't close it like you have nothing. Have it open like you're actually holding something, and you're doing this with your eyes closed. Now, with someone with pain, before you do any of this, the first thing you do is you tell them, ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the shoulder is fine, and 10 being all kinds of pain, what would you say that pain is? And let's say they say the pain is a 10, all right? And then you have them pretend to reach and pull that pain out of their shoulder with their eyes closed, and have them hold that pain in their hand. And while they're holding it in their hand with their eyes closed, tell them to see if you can see what color it is. See what color that pain is. And then you see a color. You imagine seeing the pain as a physical thing, and you see a color. And you ask them, is it smooth on the outside or is it rough on the outside? And then they tell you. And then you tell them to heft it and see if you get a feeling of the weight of it. You don't tell me how much it weighs, but see if you can get a feeling of it. If you get a feeling of it, fine. And then say, smell it and see if you can get a sense of what it smells like. And so then they get a sense of what it smells like, fine. And then you tell them, take your other hand and break it open and look on the inside. Is it hollow on the inside or is it solid? They tell you whether it's hollow or solid. And then you ask them, what color is it on the inside? And then they tell you what color it is on the inside. And then you tell them to put it back together. And then you tell them to hold up their other hand, and in that hand you're going to put a magic wand. And they hold that hand up, and you touch the hand and tell them to close it and hold the magic wand. And they close the hand. Then you tell them to wave that magic wand in front of them, and they're doing all this with their eyes closed. Tell them to wave that magic wand in front of them, and what will appear is a table with 2 containers. And so then they see in their mind a table with 2 containers. And then you tell them to describe the containers. They can describe it any way they want to, but like what I normally see is a glass pitcher, just like the Kool-Aid pitcher they show on the cover of a Kool-Aid, that has a round belly and a handle on it. And then you tell them to take that pain that's in their right hand and put it inside of the pitcher. One of the pitchers, you got 2 pitchers, and so you put it inside of one of the pitchers. And then you tell them to take that magic wand that's in your left hand, if they're right-handed, and then take that magic wand out of the left hand into your right hand, and take your left hand and pick up the container by the handle, and then you take that magic wand and start stirring the pain up, and tell them that magic wand is hooked to the universe and to the stars and the planet, and the power is coming through the magic wand and turning that pain into liquid. And you tell them to keep stirring until the pain is complete liquid. And they keep stirring, and then you ask them as they stir, do you notice the color changing? And if they notice the color changing, then you have them explain the color to you. And you keep stirring until it's a liquid, Then you take the magic wand out and lay it on the table. You pick up the other glass container, you hold it to, and then you pour from one container into the other. And as you pour, you notice some of it will evaporate. And then you pour it back into the first container, and more will evaporate. And then you pour it back, and more will evaporate. And you pour it back, and more will evaporate until it's all gone. Now, if it's all gone, that's fine, but if some of it turns back into a solid, you put one pitcher down, pick up the magic wand, and stir it again until it's a liquid, and keep pouring it back and forth until it's all evaporated. Once it's all evaporated, you put both containers on the table, you pick up the magic wand, and you tap both containers, and any residue left in that container will disappear. And then you tell them to wave the magic wand over the table and the two containers, and they will disappear. And then you tell them to open your hand, and the magic wand will disappear. And then you ask them a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say that pain is now? And almost every time, that pain will be either completely gone, or it will be down to almost nothing. If it was a 10 to start with, it might be a 3 or a 2 now. I taught this to a 5-year-old kid, and he went to church the next week, Sunday. And while I was in church, we had a marvelous organ player there. We call her Dr. Ruth. And she was in her 80s. Or at least I think, yeah, she was. And then she mentioned to us that she wasn't going to be able to play the organ that day because her shoulder hurt. That 5-year-old kid said, "Oh, I can fix it." And so she decided she would humor him, and she went and sat on the bench next to him, and she did what he told her to do when he was doing the symptom duplication process. And then when she was finished, to her astonishment, all the pain was gone. Now, she didn't believe he could do that, and you would think that she would have to have faith in order for all the pain to be gone. But that's not true. That little kid had the faith. You can have faith and it will work on you, or that child can have faith and it will work on you. Now, one thing about a child is, you can tell a child about dragons and all kinds of stuff, and they believe it. And so when you tell them about the symptom duplication process, removing pain, they believe it. And so a child will have total faith that it's going to work, and is more likely to work on if a child do it for you than if an adult, because at least you know that child got faith, and that faith is very powerful. So you want to start teaching your child early at a young age to heal people and have a healer in your family. I was working at the Inland Boatmen's Union, and I had one of the other business representatives, and I was down there on a Saturday. He came by and saw the office door open, and he came in. And he wanted to use the phone. And this was on a Saturday. He wanted to get in touch with his doctor, because his doctor was supposed to operate on his knee on Tuesday, and the knee was hurting him so bad that he didn't think he could wait till Tuesday. And I says, "Okay, yeah, you can use the phone, but before you use the phone, will you mind letting me try something on your knee?" And he said, "Go ahead." And so I did the symptom duplication process. I asked him, what was it on a scale of 1 to 10 in the beginning. I think he said a 12. And then I did the symptom duplication process. And I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say it is now? And he says, "I don't know, let me see." And then he started kicking his leg out, while he was sitting there. And then I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say it is now? He says, "I don't know, let me see." He got up and he started walking around on it, I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say it is now? He lifted up his other foot. He was jumping up and down on the leg that was supposed to be hurting. He was trying to bring that pain back because he couldn't imagine, as bad as that pain was, it just disappeared. And it was gone. I did a talk about holistic health, and I was talking about subliminal tapes for healing and at the Evergreen State College. And when I give talks like that, I ask the audience to pick out among them who is in the most pain. Because somebody in the pain is going to have audience. Somebody in the audience is going to have pain. And the way I have them pick it out is I say, if you're in pain, tell the person next to you about your pain. Okay? And so some of the people, they were talking in the audience. And then when they finished, I said, okay, whoever thinks that their person have the most pain, stand up and tell us about it. And someone would stand up and tell us. And I said, now if there's somebody in the audience think they heard from someone that have even more pain, stand up and tell us. And they would stand up and tell us. And then we would determine who has the most pain. This is the Evergreen State College Tacoma branch. And the person that we determined was Dr. Maxine Mims, who was the founder of the Evergreen State College Tacoma branch. And I called her to come up front and sit in a chair. Now they had all kinds of workshops going on on that weekend in that college. And outside the halls where it was full of people, and I'm in here in this one room doing this. And so I did it to her. And I asked her afterwards on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say it is? And she was in her 70s. She did like the other guy did and started kicking her leg out to see how it felt. And then I asked her on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say that pain is? She stood up, no longer limping. She ran out of the room into the hallway, and she started saying, "He's doing miracles in here. He's doing miracles in here. Come in, come in." And all the people crowded in there. And I finished my workshop on holistic health and subliminal tapes. And there was this one lady that wanted me to work with her and about her illnesses and her problems. And I talked to her for a long time. And I found out that she was sick, and when she's sick, her family would come and they would feel sorry for her and spend time with her. And then when the family stopped coming, she would develop a different illness and get even sicker. And the family would come and she wanted the company of the family. And after talking to her, I realized that if I did something that healed her, she's going to find a way to get sick again just to get the attention from her family. Some people don't want to be healed. That's when I realized that some people don't want to be healed. Now, I was doing these type of things because I wanted to heal people. And when I realized that she didn't want to be healed, I helped her out some, but I walked away from it. She was willing to pay. You got people willing to pay money for you to heal them, but they don't want to be healed. What they want is your attention. They want you feeling sorry for them. They want you working with them. They want you talking to them. They're not trying to get healed. There are several ways to heal. Like I say, doctors want to give you pills for you to take forever. You can take the duck flower. It can heal a whole bunch of things in 10 to 12 hours. You can go down to Peru and take ayahuasca, and not only will it heal a bunch of things, it'll open your third eye. You'll be able to see things like you've never seen before. is out here, but you need to recognize the God within yourself to heal yourself. I think that's enough for right now. This is Johnny Ohinaba Perryman. Have a blessed day and continue to heal your body.